Right, are we back? We're back, right, good. Now just to wrap it up on motivation, just in case if you want to have motivational conversations, that is something you can do easily. Sit down with the staff. There are short questions and the tough questions. You can sit down with the staff and just talk to them. Tell me about time in the past month or 2 or 6 months or whatever that you felt demotivated, frustrated, emotionally burnt out. Is there something that happened in the past that make you demotivated, make you unhappy, upset you? You want to find out. And if there are some things that is bothering you, let's see whether we can change that or improve that. Then the tough question is talk to the staff. And tell the time the past month or 2 that you felt motivated, excited, jazzed up. Hopefully it's not because last time I was excited was because the plant had the factory had an explosion and then they had to shut down everything for 1 whole month and still get paid. Hopefully it's not that. Right, so these are some things that we can use for conversations. And of course, the kinds of reply that we get varies. It depends on the trust levels with the other people. So it can range from the superficial to the very committed. Just keep the ones in the middle, just go to the range. Superficial is everything's fine, can't think of anything, I'm happy here, everything's okay. Anything else, anything that happened in the last 1 month or 2 that made you upset, demotivated, okay lah. Anything that makes you excited, okay lah. You may need to do more probing. That's one thing. It may also be a signal to you that you haven't built enough trust with that person. That person doesn't trust you enough as a mentor. Okay, and just a very brief point on building trust. There are different ways of building trust and the different levels of trust. There are different magnitudes of trust. If you are building trust as a manager to your subordinates or to your team member, being honest and truthful is an important criteria. It is not the most important or the most urgent. The most urgent criteria, if you're a manager, you want to build trust with subordinates or team members, is that when your team members has got a problem and come to you, you actually do whatever it takes or do whatever you can do to help them solve the problem. Just one thing. Okay, it's not about how truthful you are, how integrity you are. If the employee feels that, if the staff feels that you are truthful, you're nice, you're honest, but you're not doing anything to help me or support me, then I'm not going to trust you.
That's particularly the case in Singapore as well. But I think I maybe because I'm European, I find it easier to build a trusting relationship with people who haven't necessarily, or I feel that they trust me more because we're of a similar race.
Sure.
I think Singaporeans that I found, because I've managed a team in Singapore, I had to prove that I followed through before they trusted.
Sure, yes, it could be. And I mean the research that I quoted is actually based on US research, and we found that a lot of things run parallel as well as where people. So it could be of different race, it could be a different country, whatever it is. But people tend to, as team members, they want to know what kind of boss are you. If I have a problem and I share it with you, can I trust you with that? Okay, so that's typical subordinate thing, and we want that to be shared. Right, so if someone's committed, they will share more. If there's a problem with you, and here's what specifically should be done about it. So if someone's committed, they can tell you, you are the problem. You are the causes of my depression and demotivation. And sometimes people can say that, say it candidly, not because I want to complain about you, but there could be something you as a manager could be doing that is causing problems. I just want to share that so that we can do something about it. So if the trust goes to that level, then it's very hard trust between two of you. Right. Also, talking about challenges, sometimes if the staff, and this applies to the high performers, or people who are not performing very well, but they see themselves as high performers, it may work for them as well. In the past, we kind of think that if you have a range of difficulty, the more difficult the task is, your performance will go up to a certain extent and then it will go down. This was what we thought of in the past. New research in the 90s showed that if you are working with high performers, the difficulty level goes up, performance actually go up and down. Now, some people, I mean, just in case there are some statistician in the room, some people will say that, no, this and this is actually the same. This is just one half of this graph, left side. Okay, so that they're actually the same diagram. It could be true, it's just that for high performers, they probably have got a very high threshold for pain and difficulty challenges. So they actually don't mind being given very challenging work, mission impossible type work, and the caveat is that as long as they're given the right kind of support, they're giving the right kind of feedback, they're given the right kind of resources, or sometimes freedom. So that's the last one. Now, sometimes difficult goals, we can just go this briefly. There are excerpts that we have from employee engagement reports. So these are based on employee engagement surveys, and high scores on this question. My boss pushes me harder than I will push myself. I will have exert extra effort to achieve my assigned goals. I will have to learn new skills to achieve my assigned goals. If you have high scores on all three, tend to have high scores on this questions as well. These are statements, and we do in the survey and get people to rank 1 to 7, 7 being highest and 1 being lowest. So higher scores on this. I consider myself a high performer. The work I do makes a difference to people's life. I recommend this company to others as a great place to work for people, or a great place for people to work for. I recommend my boss to others as a great person to work for, etc. So what is really interesting here is the first line and the last line. To a high performer, the boss that actually pushes the high performer is regarded as a good boss. Which means, to a company like Apple in the past, where you have Steve Jobs, the evil Steve Jobs, who would really tell everybody, the moment you show something to Steve Jobs as an employee, the first response is, this is shit. Okay, this is Steve Jobs. Everything to him on the first glance is shit. Right? So it's actually, in a way, nasty, mean at times to employees, very pushy. To the high performance, they actually love Steve Jobs. So when Steve Jobs actually died, a lot of people in Apple actually cried. I mean, those are not tears of joy for sure. Right? They really miss Steve Jobs a lot. Okay, so there's a correlation for bosses that pushes people harder, and bosses being a big person to work for. So now, going into attitude. Two kinds of attitude generally. Basically, two kinds. There are the problem solvers and the problem bringers. Problem solvers are not people who can solve all problems. Problem solvers are just people who encounter problems and try to think about solutions or try to find solutions. They may not be able to solve a problem, but attitude is they tell the boss, we have a problem. And can we solve it this way? Can we solve it in some other way? Can we find someone who can help us solve it? If that attitude is, how can we make this place a better place? This attitude. Problem bringers just do half the job. They tell the boss, we have this problem, we have that problem, we have traffic jam problem, and so on. And that's it, nothing else. These are problem bringers. So there's two main kinds of attitudes. Of course, problem solvers and problem bringers. The solvers are better attitude, the bringers are worse attitude. Generally. So which type is yours? Which type is those for your team? For us to reflect. Now, in late last year, we have a number of elections, and probably the one that caught our eye a lot, not the one in Singapore, the one around the world. The American presidential election. Anyone follow that? Presidential election, USA? Yes. Of course, we now know that Obama won and Romney lost. Why did Romney lose? Despite that there were a lot of complaints, there were unhappiness about Obama all around America, why did Romney lose? And lost very badly. reports, whether on newspaper, on CNN, or wherever it is, you see some excerpts of speeches, why Romney lost. Just cut a long story short. Yes, yes.
Because Romney is a pinpointer. He pinpointed on the problems which are there, and that's all.
Yes, he's a problem bringer. He just say, you know, this administration is horrible, this administration and this current president is doing a lot of wrong things, everything that's wrong is not doing well. And then when prompted for, okay, so what shall we do next? What are your plans? The only reply is, we'll share the plans once I'm elected as president. Right, and this is not just from the opponent, even from within the Republican Party. People asking, well, so what shall we do next? We're expecting some kind of roadmap, some kind of plan. There is, and nothing. It's a pure problem bringer. Many people are saying that yes, Obama may be weak, not capable, and problems, but this guy at least tries to solve problems. I mean, he may not be succeeding in trying to solve problems, but the attitude is that of more of a problem solver. Whereas Romney is a lot more of a problem bringer. So people don't like Romney. So that's probably why, or one of the reasons why. Some more statistics, some American statistics may or may not apply here. And this is probably taken before the financial crisis. Survey with companies, 87% of the people working in companies are looking for a change in jobs. The question asked was, if there is a job of a better pay and a better position, would you consider switching? 87% of people say yes. So a lot of people are looking for opportunities out there. 93% had their productivity increased if there are bad attitude people in the company. It affects them. Okay, so these are some of the things. Why attitude matters. Oops. And very briefly, 46% of new hires will fail within 18 months. What by fail within 18 months? It should be fail to meet expectations within 18 months. It means to hire someone. This person is supposed to meet some expectations. And after 18 months, this person hasn't met expectations. So in some cases, it's so bad you have to let the person go, or the person chooses to go. So that is some serious cases, but this also applies to those who are still in the company. They're still employed after 18 months, but they have not performed to expectations as compared to the point of hire. That is what is meant here. So that is considered about 46%. Half of all hires may not actually perform to your expectations and when you are hiring them. But only 11% will fail for a lack of technical skills, for skills of they are supposed to do it. So if you hire an engineer, they have good engineering skills. If you hire a salesperson, they got good sales skills. They fail because of attitude issues. They couldn't fit in, they couldn't work well with the teams, they couldn't work well with their bosses, they don't have the cultural fit in your company, the whole range of reasons. But fear, why we don't tackle attitude, some reasons why. Sometimes this person is doing well, it's got good output, it's got good productivity. You know, and this person sometimes has got good visibility with your boss. It's a good performer. The boss says, well, you've got a good performer, you should keep this person, don't let this person work for a competitor. So this has got high visibility to your own boss. So it's hard to actually handle such issues at times. Low visibility on interpersonal issues. The boss doesn't know, or your boss doesn't know that this person has got an attitude problem. They only see results sometimes. We have decent political capital, as in everybody in the company think that we cannot afford to lose such and such a person. And you have a historically good reviews. So as a result, this person is more or less indispensable in a sense. Why we need to tackle attitude? Because you are talking about HP is not the company, it's high potentials. You got to think about the morale and retention of high potentials. They may be affected by people with bad attitude. Productivity and wasted time because of people with bad attitude, as well as breakdowns in communications because of bad attitudes. So these are some of the reasons. Background information. So, ages. When do we form our attitude? At what age do we form our attitude? Well, we form our character very young. terms of attitude, is formed around the age of 20. Okay, so attitude and character is kind of different. So the attitude towards life, towards work is actually later, but still not very old. So if you have someone with 40-year-old with bad attitude and you want to manage attitude, difficult. So what we want to do is we want to manage the behavior. We may not be able to change the attitude 180 degrees, but we would like to change the behavior. Hopefully we can change the behavior. Right? So what we do in terms of managing behavior, 6 steps. Well, first aspect. Timeliness, objectivity, specificity, candor, account, choice. We go them one by one. Okay, so are we giving PDF versions or?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we'll be giving the PDF version of the PPT, so you don't have to copy down everything. Timeliness feedback must, I wouldn't say real time, but in a timely order. Right? Well, someone was late for a meeting. You don't tell the person, no, John, you were late for that meeting 3 months ago. It has to be in a reasonable amount of time, quite timely. So you don't want to spend way too long ago and the person forget about it. So one is timeliness. You don't have to go through all the points. You want to go through the most salient ones. Objectivity. Objective is not always quantifiable, but someone from a third party can see. So when you tell someone you have a bad attitude, is that objective or subjective? Your attitude is bad. Subjective. What is good attitude? What is bad attitude? Different people have got different definitions. But on the other hand, when I say that during the meeting you shouted and made personal attacks on other people who did not disagree with you. Okay, so that is objective. We know that you shouted, you made abusive remarks, so that's a lot more objective. So this is what we want to say. Some key words that we tend to use it too often, they are very subjective. You don't do things the right way. Doing the right way can be very subjective. What is the right way? So you may want to describe the right way rather than telling you to do things the right way. You are not very professional. Professional, what is professional and what is not professional is very subjective. So these are things we want to make a distinction to be more specific and be more objective. Being specific, don't use words like never, always, and so on. And this is an example we use between husbands and wives. Husband in the middle of the night goes to the toilet. After using the toilet, forgets to turn off the lights. Wife saw it and then tells husband, "You never turn off the lights." Right? And then what does the husband say? I turned off last time. Last time I turned off. Not every time. It's not never. Right, so never, always, every time is an absolute. And the moment we use absolutes, we set ourselves up for attacks. We set ourselves up for people to say, no, not every time. Not always late. I was late, I was early yesterday. Right, so these are going to be a bit more specific. When was that person late? For how many times in a week? For how long were they late, and so on. So you may want to go into that specific part more or less. Candor, the truth is the truth, just tell them directly. Avoid the compliment sandwich. What is the compliment sandwich? Compliment sandwich is tell people, you are a great employee. It's just that sometimes you are late for meetings, but you are a great employee. Compliment sandwich, say something nice, and then something, some sort of criticism, and then something nice. The problem there is the human brain is wired in a way that scientifically it's called the recency and the primacy effect. And what it means in normal language is we tend to remember things that happened at the last part and at the beginning. So it's just like we watch a movie like Titanic, 3-hour movie. We tend to remember what's happening in the beginning. We tend to remember what's happening in the ending. We tend not to forget. We tend to forget a lot of things in the middle. Okay, that is That's how our brain are being wired up. So when you give a compliment, say, you're a great employee. Just that in meetings, you are often late for about half an hour. But you're a good employee. To that person, he may actually think that, oh, the boss is actually giving me a compliment, not a criticism. He actually re-emphasized nice things about me twice.
I was looking at this portion about compliments and
yes.
we talk about criticizing.
Yeah.
So if you're going to criticize someone, criticize somebody private, and
yes.
when you do a criticization or whatever,
yes, true.
You can do it, with a compliment, and then you give the feedback, but you don't compliment again. On the other hand, you said that you reinforce it by saying you could continue to be a great employee if you change this, and you would have been even a great employee.
We're always showing the script how we do it later on. Sometimes you don't even need to compliment in the beginning. But what we can do is, if you want to change, you will see that a lot of things is going to be better for you. So we want them to see the outside if they want to make some changes. We'll have a complete script or simple script later. Calm. You want to approach things in a calm way. You don't want to be. You don't want to blow up. You don't want to lose control of your own temper, of your own self when giving that feedback. And so you want to make sure that you're not too agitated. You want to come selfish. Neither do you want to be too cold. So it's somewhere in between. So you want to be calm. You want to avoid these 4 areas when you are giving feedback. You don't want to give feedback when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
It's tough.
I know it's tough. You want to get yourself in a neutral mood, at least, before you want to give the moral stories. You don't want to blow yourself up. Okay. Choice. People can only choose whether they want to change or not. You cannot tell people you must change. You cannot even tell your children that they need to change. You cannot even change your own children, much less your own employees. Right? So you need to let them. You can choose now, or you can choose one day later. You can think about it. I'll come back to you in a day's time and tell me whether you want to change or not. So you let them have that choice. Now, how this whole thing figure out? The 4 steps: establish a context, describe the timely, objective, and specific issue, candidly eliminate the status quo. As in, we don't want to say that we want to make sure that whatever you are doing is unacceptable. It's not. You cannot go by yourself always. You need to make a change. This is what is happening now. It's unacceptable and has to change. You can calmly offer a choice. You can choose to change now. You can choose to make a commitment now, or I can come back to you in 1 day's time and you let me know. So this is a simple script. There are 4 steps because it's the 4th step is very long. I will show the first 3 first. Establish a context. I'm calling in because there's a problem with your recent performance. So you don't even have to start with the compliment. Isn't that calling in? And you're right to say that. You're right to say that when you're giving criticism, you criticize in private. You don't want to do it in front of everybody. So I call in. The reason I call in is because there's a problem in your recent performance. Last week in Tuesday's task force meeting, you made 3 biting and sarcastic remarks during our brainstorming session. It's timely, objective, and specific. And then candidly eliminate the status quo. This is not acceptable behavior in the setting, and it will not be allowed to continue. These steps. Just go direct and say that this is unacceptable. And then the tough part, step 4. No, I can't force you to change, and I won't try. But what I will say is that you have a choice. You can change your behavior or keep it where it is. If you change, you will be much more effective, and I think you'll see your teammates respond to you more positively. If you decide to change, I can work with you to outline a very specific action plan with clear expectations. I will have expectations, and of course I will also help you to support you to help you change. On the other hand, if you opt not to change, then we'll begin an improvement plan. Some threats an improvement plan. without significant progress could ultimately result in termination. We will take disciplinary actions. Again, this really depends on what is the situation. Do you want to use disciplinary action as a threat? But what it really means is, if you change, this is what I can do to support you. If you don't change, what are some of the negative consequences? I believe you are capable of changing this behavior, but only you can choose the path that's right for you. Just be clear that there are only two options available here, because maintaining your present course is not an option. You can give me your decision now, or you can take 24 hours to make a decision. This one is a typical aggressive, dominant American boss. The languaging is sometimes a bit more aggressive than what we see here in Asia. What we can do is to just adapt it to our own life.
But isn't that line, because maintaining a present course is not an option, eliminated the other option?
Well, the other option in a way is eliminated. It's just that what it really means is you can do whatever you remain to now, and not having any kind of disciplinary action is no longer an option. I'm saying it's just that the first one is, yes, we are not changing, but in the past, when you do something like this, nothing happens. In future, if you do something like this, something will happen. So if you do something like this and nothing happens, will not happen anymore. That's what it means. Okay, so we can be found, and we don't want to. Sorry.
If you have high performers and you are inviting them to these kind of feedback talks,
Yes.
they are most likely to give you answers you don't want to hear, because they are already having a bad attitude.
Right.
So I know a lot of leaders
Yes.
who try to keep it in this calm way, and then in the middle of a feedback interview they freak out. And I know a lot of leaders whose solution for this is standing up and leaving the room. And we have a lot of these issues to work on,
Sure.
usually.
Sure.
And it is nice to do it this way,
Yeah.
but with high performance with a bad attitude, you will usually get people
Yes.
who respond to you in a way you do not want to.
Yes, and you got most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, people will say, "Shit, I screwed up. Sorry, boss. It's a bad thing on my part." 80% of the time, most people will recognize that it's a mistake. It's not a big deal, and it's just that it bothers the boss, it bothers other people. I'll compromise and do something. Most of the time. 10% of the time, sometimes we will face some of this. Right? So you have people say, "No, I didn't do anything wrong. Was it sarcastic remarks? Was that bad remarks? I don't see anything wrong. I'm denying. No, nothing happened." Sorry. Some people is that, what do you say? I'm the best person you want. Even if you say you want to fire me, you're the best person you want. Some people say that. Some people worse. How dare you insult me? And some people say, no, the reason I make that sarcastic remark was Bob. Bob was the one who started it all. Well, he said something stupid, so I have to do something. His fault. If you want to do something like this, do it to Bob. Ask him not to do it anymore. Then I'll stop. It's his fault, not me. Okay. And others may have drama to cry. And maybe not for a meeting thing like this, but for sometimes happens for performance issues, sometimes happens for more serious issues. Some people actually cry. Use crying as a way to get out of it. It happens. Ultimately, it depends on whether if you, as manager, as boss, do you have, in a way, the courage, the guts, the courage, and are you firm enough to stick to your own principles? What are allowable and what is not allowable? Because if you allow a high potential, a high performer, to go way deep down on that attitude, it's going to make you lose a lot of other people, including other high performers. So is it worth it? That's one. And two is, sometimes you may want to address those bad attitude issues early before they become big, bad attitude issues. So it's easier sometimes to handle the small bad attitude issues than to wait until it comes big problem, and it becomes very exclusive. So those are some tips. And accordingly, this is what you do. Same 4 steps. It's just like broken record. In the old days we have final records. Broken record, just repeat yourself. And people say, it's Bob's fault, it's not my fault, I didn't do it, I'm the best person you've got. Just respond, I hear you. Now let me repeat. I've got it in because it's wrong. Just repeat again and again. So, you don't have to get booked out, you don't have to get freaked out or lose the temper. This is the thing. Let the person lose the temper if you want to. This is the thing. You can choose to change. If you change, I'll help you. Your team members will help you. Everybody is going to get along fine. We'll be supportive. Everybody makes mistakes once in a while anyway. So we will just help each other and make sure that you being a much better employee, performer. Everybody will love you. Or you can just not change and so on.
What's the 24-hour option?
Well, sometimes in some situations, some people may be doing a bad thing for too long, and they may find it difficult to give a direct answer there and then. So you may just say, think about it for one day, I'll come back to you in 1 day's time. So rewind back to the part on the bad Taiwanese top salesperson. So if it's the boss, the phone boss, going to the salesperson and say that, the reason I call it is because you have been snatching away other territories' salesperson's customers, right? And that is bad as behavior that we need to address. Because if you were to change that, you'll definitely see that you may have other referrals from mainland where the customers are actually based in Taiwan. Get more people. You also will get along well more with other salespeople. That's a change, and will actually help you make the transition to the change that you don't actually steal other people's customers. But the other thing is that I want to let you know that not changing that is not an option anymore, because if you keep on stealing other people's customers, well, the best thing I can do is you can help other people close their sales. Commissions will still go to them. So you can steal other territories' customers, close the sale, you will not get a single cent. You will not have the sales targets counted as your target, accomplishment of your target. You are literally helping people in other territories to close their sales and finish their targets and make the commissions. So it's no longer an option that doing this and stealing other people's customers. Right? So there are 2 options. One is to refrain from doing that, and we'll look into how we can make the transition to you to do that, or keep on doing that and have other people getting a free ride from you. That's it. So you can choose to change now, or I can come back to you tomorrow and you can let me know your decision tomorrow. And that decision could be I quit. It could be a possible decision. But what we want to do is, maybe you're angry now, maybe you feel insulted, maybe you as top salesperson of a region may feel that I'm not giving you the kind of respect or special treatment that you think you may deserve, and all that. So let's just say that whatever you say now, you may be acting on the spur of anger. Let's not do that. Let's calm ourselves for one day, think about it, cool ourselves, weigh options. I'll come back to you in 1 day's time and you tell me what you want to do. Okay. Just that. Also, in terms of that script, it also depends on what is tough enough or not enough. So it can be totally aggressive. In some cultures, you need to be very aggressive. In some cultures, you're more like a friend kind of thing. You don't want good feelings, so you want to tone it down a lot more. And most of the time, it's somewhere in between. So in that script just now, for the case of Asia, in Singapore or other parts of Asia, it could be perceived as overly aggressive at times. So you may want to tone down the script to make it more applicable to our culture or the people that we work with. So we can what I call adjust the script accordingly. At this point, questions, comments, anything 1 second. So is it easy being a manager? That's why Nick quits the job, right? He's not the one managing now, just himself, right? So it's
Yeah, good start, too.
right. It's not easy. It's not easy making being a manager. Now, usually in closing, sometimes we have a quote from Sun Tzu, and the quote, it's not a very often quote, is this: if you are able to march, as a walk, 1,000 miles and not feel tired, you will win. Right? If you are able to march 1,000 miles and not feel tired, you are undefeatable. What it means is this: in the context of war, 2,500 years ago, the reason we use war is not because we like to have wars. It's just that a lot of things that we use in business today has its roots in the military. Words like strategy, organization, command and control, I mean, it's an old word. Even the words like logistics. Logistics came from Napoleon. Right? Even words like training. Training came from military, trained soldiers. Right? So a lot of things we do today has got its roots in the military. So that's why we use a lot of words war, not because we like war, not because we support the bombing, and so on. Not that. So in 2,500 years ago, if you're a foot soldier and you need to get from point A to point B, what is your main means of transport? If you're a soldier 2,500 years ago, you need to get from point A to point B, what is your means of transportation? Sorry?
Shanks pony.
Your feet, both your feet, not horses. Horses are for generals, not for foot soldiers. That's why you're a foot soldier, right? You walk, basically, right? And you wear straw sandals. It's going to have blisters the moment you walk more than 10 meters. Right? You need to carry your weapons and your food. In the old days, there is no central kitchen. There's no central logistics support and all that. You need to bring your own food along. And in many parts of Asia, the main food is rice. You need to bring the rice along. It's very heavy. You need to cross mountains and rivers. So it's going to be a long process. By the time you reach 1,000 miles, you're going to be dead tired. If you're able to do that and not feel tired, and the opponent has already given up, you win. You win without fighting. Right? So it's the same thing in managerial situation as well. Our jobs as managers is unlikely in the foreseeable future to be easy. Right? If you ever got the kind of job, tell me, I'm going to apply for the same job. But it's unlikely that our jobs as managers is going to be any easier in the foreseeable future. It's going to be hard. It's hard. That's the bad news. The good news is that if you're able to overcome those difficulties, you're able to persevere and do a lot more things and not feel tired, then you probably will be one of the fewer managers who can do that. So it could mean better for our own careers. It could mean better that we are making a bigger difference in many people's lives. It could mean that you can achieve more and so on. Okay, so it's the same goal. If you're able to march 1,000 miles and not feel tired, as managers, we are also undefeatable as well. So with that, we don't want to hold it any further. I do know that we started late due to the great traffic jam this morning. I'm sure that a lot of people will be complaining about the COEs and the ERPs that are not working the way they're supposed to be. We'll leave it to the news this evening. So in any case, thank you for bearing the rain, the jams, and literally climbing mountains and crossing rivers to get to this place here. So thank you for making the trip, and we look forward to see you in the near future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.